You already know you should leave. You've felt it more than once. In the silence after a conversation, maybe in the moment you feel drained. Again, in that quiet inner voice that says, this isn't right anymore. And yet, you stay. Not because you don't see it, but because you can't seem to act on it. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens. I'm going to show you the emotional patterns that keep you there. I'm going to show you why just choosing yourself doesn't work, and the Bach Flower Remedies that help you finally step out of it in a way that feels natural, not forced. So if you've ever felt like, I know, but I don't move, stay with me. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a Bach Flower practitioner and vibrational healer, and I help people understand the deeper emotional patterns that keep them stuck in situations they've already outgrown. And this moment where you know but don't act is one of the most important ones. Because if it were just about clarity, you would have already left. You've thought about it, you've felt it, you've probably even said it out loud, and still you go back. You stay a little longer, you explain again, you give it one more chance, and afterwards you feel tired, confused, maybe even a little disappointed in yourself. So let's be very clear about something. This is not a clarity problem. You don't need more insight. You don't need more analysis. You don't need someone else to tell you what's right for you. You already know. But what's happening here is something deeper. It's not that you don't want to leave, it's that something in you doesn't really feel allowed to leave. And this is where we enter a very specific emotional pattern. A pattern where you adapt quickly, feel responsible for others, don't want to hurt anyone, try to keep things harmonious, and slowly, without even noticing, you start to move away from yourself. You might recognize this as saying yes when you want to say no, staying when something already feels off, maybe feeling guilty at the thought of leaving. People giving more chances than they receive. And again, this is not weakness. This is something that once made sense, something you learned to stay connected, to avoid conflict, to feel safe. But now it's keeping you in places that are no longer aligned. And this is where Bach Flower Remedies become incredibly powerful. Because they don't just help you decide, they help you shift the part of you that keeps overriding your own truth. The main remedy here is Centaury. And Centaury is for people who are very, very kind, they are very caring, they are very sensitive and empathic, they're very willing to give. But somewhere along the way, that giving became over-giving, over-adapting, and even self-abandoning. You feel others strongly, you understand them, you don't want to hurt them. And because of that, you slowly move further away from yourself. But depending on your situation, there can be other layers involved. For instance, Serrato. Serrato is the part of you that already knows, but doesn't really trust it. You feel something is off. You sense that something isn't right. But instead of following that, you look outside. What do they think? Am I overreacting? Maybe I'm wrong. And the more you do that, the further you move away from your own inner direction. So even when you're ready to leave, you hesitate. Not because you don't know, but because you don't fully trust yourself. Then there is Larch. Larch is the quiet doubt that says, what if I can't do this? What if I regret it? What if I fail? It's not loud fear, it's very subtle. It's the kind of doubt that makes you stay because leaving feels like a big risk. So you remain in something that doesn't feel right, because at least it's familiar. Then there is Mimulus. This is when fear becomes very specific. Fear of being alone, fear of confrontation, fear of what will happen next. You can name it, you can feel it, and that fear keeps you from taking the step you already know you need to take. Another one, agrimony. Agrimony is the part of you that keeps things light. You avoid conflict, you don't fully express what's going on inside. You keep the peace, and from outside, everything looks fine. but inside there is a big discomfort. And because you don't fully allow that discomfort to surface, you also don't act on it and you also don't express it. Pine. Pine is the deeper layer of guilt. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't try enough. Maybe I should do better. Maybe I'm obliged to stay. And because of that, leaving doesn't feel neutral. It feels like doing something wrong. It feels like hurting someone. It feels like failing as a person. So instead of stepping away, you stay and you try to fix something that was never yours to carry alone. Then there's Walnut. Walnut comes in when you're already at the edge of change. You know it's time, but you still feel pulled back, influenced, or connected to what was. And Walnut helps you stay steady in your direction and your choice. It creates a kind of inner boundary so you can move forward without being constantly pulled back. And when these patterns begin to shift, something very interesting happens. You don't suddenly become hard. You don't push people away. You don't force yourself. You simply stop overriding yourself. And then one day, you don't finally decide to leave. You just don't go back. Because real courage is not force, it's alignment. It's when your inner truth becomes stronger than your fear of disappointing others. And this doesn't only apply to relationships, this shows up in jobs, friendships, family dynamics, repeated situations. Anywhere you feel, I know, but I don't move. And if this resonates with you, this is something we need to look at more deeply. That's why I created a masterclass, a new approach to healing. Move past what's been keeping you stuck without chaos or uncertainty. And this is where I guide you through how to recognize these patterns in yourself, how to stop repeating them, and how to choose your first remedy in a way that creates real movement. Because once you understand this, you don't need to force change. It happens naturally when it needs to. You'll find the link below in the description. You can also join the Remedy Circle. If you join now, you can join for free, or you can download my beginner's guide if you want to explore more gently. You can find all my links below. If this resonated with you, I'd really love to hear from you. You can leave me a small comment like, hey, yeah, this is me, or I recognize this, or anything you really feel like sharing. And if you know someone who keeps staying in something they already outgrew, you can send this to them. Maybe let another video play a little longer in the background, because that helps this little channel grow more than you think. And it's not really about numbers, but about reaching the right people for this work. Thank you so much for being here. I loved making this video, and I see you in the next one.